Hello and welcome to your latest rundown of news for Ark Survival Evolved. On Tuesday, Said gave us the latest community crunch, number 216, announcing the upcoming Valentines event, now called Love Evolved. It's going to start on Tuesday the 11th of February, 6pm UTC time, and will run through to Tuesday the 18th of February, again 6pm UTC time. And here's what we can expect from the event. They've introduced a new activity to get our event drops, in the form of fishing for coelcanths? I don't think any of us know how to pronounce that. By fishing for fish. By reeling them in, you can get candies, chocolates and chibis. The chocolate and candies are a returning feature from previous events, with chocolates being used to heal dinos or give a boost in taming. Referring back to the wiki, the rates for the last event had the chocolate knocking off 40% of a dino's taming bar if it's force-fed it during taming. It did come with a 3-hour cooldown timer, so no spamming chocs for insta-tames. Whether or not these are the same rates, it doesn't say, but I would assume if the rates were different, they probably would have told us. In previous years, breeding dinos could randomly drop chocolates too, but it isn't mentioned here, so I think they maybe replaced the passive drop with the fishing activity. As for candies, they can be used to give a tame dino a random colour. If you've not seen candies before, they have a random selection of colours assigned to different regions. When you feed it to a dino, those colours will appear on the dino's corresponding colour regions to give you a wacky looking creature. It is temporary, lasting about a day, and then your wacky dino will return to normal. No harm done, other than to its pride maybe. As for chibis, if you played the Christmas event, I'm sure you'll be glad to hear they're making a return. If you didn't play over Christmas, a chibi is essentially an equipable pet. You equip the chibi to your offhand and it'll follow you around wherever you go. It doesn't get stuck and it can't be killed. It's a hassle-free little friend to follow you around on your adventures. As for other collectibles, there's a new emote, some costume items and 6 unnamed chibis. And the Wild Dino event colours are the traditional Valentine red, magenta, light red and white. We don't have any more info other than that. I'm guessing you craft the costumes and emotes in the cooking pot using the chocs, and maybe the candies like last time. I'm sure we'll find out when the time comes. There's also going to be some increased rates, with all the breeding rates being increased by 3 times, player XP by 2 times, and harvesting rates also by 2 times. If you want to get some building and breeding done, it might be worth saving it till then. Now, moving on to On the Horizon, I've not been covering it, but the devs have been working really hard to tackle the meshing problem. They recently released a new anti-meshing system. Let me quote a little bit of this article here. Under-meshing refers to the ability to get to where you aren't supposed to be by moving outside of the playable space. Almost every game is susceptible to under-meshing in some form. Most speedruns rely on under-meshing, for example. It's effectively impossible to solve completely, at least automatically. Generally, when there's an instance of meshing, it's caused by bad collision setup, or a problem with the algorithm used to move the character through the world. Now, undermeshing has been a serious problem for players going up against cheaters, and it seems they've come up with some new code to start tackling this. I'm going to leave a link if you want to read up on it yourself, but basically it kind of kicks players who are undermeshing. Now, going back to our current community crunch, they say this: the results from the implementation of the anti-mesh system has had a positive effect on the overall health of the game. We ask for your patience as we continue to improve false positives you are seeing. Every report you submit brings us closer to an exploit-free environment. Thank you for your patience. We realise this is an inconvenience for those who encounter these problematic areas. We are working diligently to correct any false positives that currently remain. When making your reports, please list the map you had the encounter on. So basically, some players have been reporting issues where the code is targeting them, even though they aren't cheating, which was bound to happen for a start. And it definitely sucks for folk who are just trying to play the game. If you have been experiencing issues, go and check out the topic linked in the crunch about reporting false positives. If the devs don't know about it, they can't fix it, so don't be afraid to bring it to their attention. But it kind of makes you wonder how many of these reports are cheaters themselves, just trying to submit false positives and try and throw the devs off, or even just trying to kick up enough negative feedback to try and get the devs to reverse the change. It's food for thought there, but I'm sure we can agree it's a change that will be good for the game in the long run. Moving on, there's a small reminder that mod sponsorship applications close on the 5th, which I've just realised is today, so yeah. As for the next Evo event, it will run from Friday the 7th at 1 PM Eastern Time, EST is Eastern Time, right? Yeah, till Monday the 10th at 3 PM. And the rates are going to be 2 times Harvesting, Taming and EXP gain. As for updates, there isn't really much exciting and interesting, just a whole lot of fixes to do with the meshing system on all platforms. Now, in other news, something I would like to talk about. If you didn't already know, Genesis has been pushed back to the 25th of February, and let's be honest, no one's surprised. It's tradition at this point. Personally, so long as it's playable on release with less issues than previous DLC, they can take till next Christmas if they want. It does mean that it's given another team the chance to work on and give us the Valentines Event, which to me is a good thing because they've skipped these events in the past to work on DLC. So I'm glad the studio is doing well enough to be able to get a team of people together to give us some more chibi goodness. And some of the screenshots they shared are just amazing. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, that looks like a Mosa and a player, so this must be a Titan or a boss or something, which is pretty awesome. On the lead up to Genesis and through the Valentine's event, I'd quite like to make some more content covering some of the new stuff, but unfortunately I only have 1 day a week I can record, edit and upload. So no promises here, but I'm going to try and do something about it. Anything here spark your curiosity? Links to everything covered this week are in the description, and if there's anything you'd like to see covered next week, leave us a comment down below, and till then, have fun in Ark.